The video you're about to see was shot about a week ago. It's taken me a little while to get it edited and uploaded because I've had a few other things that I needed to get on with. I had to prioritise them. So although it's taken a little while to come out, it's still very pertinent. So I am uploading it today. Hope you enjoy. See you at the end. Good morning, I'm Julia and welcome to my garden. It is Tuesday the 9th of June and I'm starting to look to next year already. I know. I've still got a couple of things to plant out. Got a few sunflower seeds still to do. Got the leeks still to do. I'm sorry, I am looking outside. I'm looking at the things that I've still got to do to remind me what I've still got to do. There's leeks still to plant out. There's sunflowers to finish planting out. Most of them are out. I've still got probably about a dozen still to stick out. Find a place for them. I ain't letting them go. They'll be planted somewhere. I've got some late potatoes to get into pots. Tony from the Little Farmer's Farm, our guru, gave him some seed potatoes that he had left over, so I'm gonna, and some of his cut flower pots from Asda, so I'm gonna get some potatoes in the ground, but I need somewhere else to put them because there's quite a few, so we'll get those in. I'll find a spot. And I made a list actually. I made a list. Things to do. Plant the rest of the sunflowers, weed, tie in some of the squash. Yes, that definitely needs doing today. Tomatoes, so that's all the tomato tickling and checking for suckers and just generally checking on their well-being. Protect strawberries, so I'm going to put I've got some chicken wire on a roll just near the strawberries. I'm going to form an arch over the top of them. A job that desperately needs doing and I've been putting off. I need to decant the nettle tea I've been making. It's going to stink. If I think there's a lot of flies in my greenhouse, there's going to be a lot more around there when I'm doing that. But it desperately needs doing, so I've got to be a big brave Julia and do it. Don't be a milksop. Right, and thinking of moving to the future, thinking of next year, over the winter, what needed to get started. I've started some hollyhock seeds because they'll need to have the winter. They'll flower next year, not this year. So they're started. They're up in the seed tray under a cloche in here. I'm going to start some violas. They sound like teeny seeds. Shall we have a look? I've never sown violas before, not from seed. They're always so cheap to buy. But I've got free seeds off a magazine. So, in fact, I think I've got 3 packets of free seeds off magazines. Viola Sinfonia. It's a nice name, isn't it? Quite apt, seeing as we like a bit of classical music and opera around these parts. But there's not very many in, and they are small. So yeah, I'll probably plant all 3 packs, to be fair, and then just use them around the garden. So I want to do those today as well. Find the other 2 packs, they're in the seed box. That Tony gave me were pumpkin called Wiggin Giants, apparently. He's put a lot of effort into his packets. They're all hand drawn. Nice one tone. So Wiggin Giant pumpkin is also a next year thing. All of these next year. Shoals spaghetti squash. Again. A beautifully decorated packet. And a rampant zucchini courgette. So those are all for next year. Thank you very much, Tony. That was really kind of you to give me those. And the pak choy, and the tubs, and the potatoes. I came away from his allotment like that. And I feel terrible now because they took away some eggs. I'm sorry. Okay. When I see you again in, did we say end of July, early August? You'll go away with loaded arms this time, I promise. I don't think that's recovering. I think it got too wet. It got too wet in here. I put it up on the table to let it, encourage it to drain off a bit better. I'm not sure that it's done. Yeah, it's better. We'll just see if it perks up. The other one on the other hand, perfectly happy. It must have been wetter at this end than that end. Oh, we'll see what happens with it. So I'll keep an eye on that, see what happens to it. Tony, if you're watching, question. The pak choy you gave me, this one looks different. Did you have a brassica with them? But I know what it is. Otherwise I'll just grow it on and see what it is when it, you know, gets bigger. Ta! Right, let's do tomatoes. I was asked a question by a new subscriber, Lance Puddin, Lancpudn, who's a fellow northerner. Hi there in Atherton. So he was asking about bush tomatoes and trimming suckers. No, don't trim the suckers off your bush tomatoes. They're what are gonna bear more fruit, flower stems and fruit. Bush tomatoes are determinate. They'll get to a certain size and then they'll stop. So you don't take the suckers off because you're reducing the crop of tomatoes you're going to get from it. It needs to be allowed to bush out. And be cordon tomatoes, on the other hand, you do remove the suckers from them. There's one here, just tip you a little. There's one here. It grows in the elbow between the stem and the leaf, just in here. And that has the potential to be a whole new plant, but we nip it out because it sucks energy. And there's another one here growing in the elbow between the leaf and the stem. When they're tiny like this, you can just snip them out with your fingernail, but if they get bigger, usually a pair of secateurs is required. Now also, when I'm checking for suckers, I'm generally looking for plants where the leaves are touching the ground, because you can let in disease through them sitting on the soil. So this plant, even though this is a bush tomato, this leaf here is trailing on the ground. So I'm not going to take the whole leaf, I'm just going to take to about there and remove that bit, just to keep it off the ground. It also helps with a bit of airflow as well. That plant behind has got a trailer on the floor, so we'll remove that. So this will allow a bit more airflow to underneath the plant. It's not taking away any suckers, but it's just keeping the leaves off the ground. This is a Roma tomato. To aid the pollination of the tomatoes, what you can do is just put your hand in the tomato, find a convenient spot. Find a spot where you've got a few of the branches and just give the whole thing a little shake. I did this last year and it really increased the amount of tomatoes I got, and I think it's doing a great job this year as well. Usually between 10 and 14 seconds, I just count in my head up to 14 and it's done. And I do, yes, I do that for every single plant that has flowers on it, which now is 66 plants in here. It's quite a lot of tomato tickling, but it's worth it. When you get nice tomatoes like this one going on. It is cat-faced one, but I'm not worried about that. I like them. They're fun. I don't mind having one. I'm getting some really nice tomatoes going on in here now. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but through here as well. These are Black Russian, by the way. This plant is one of the San Marzano. Pomodoro San Marzano. It's getting a little bit overcrowded down at the bottom down here with leaves. So I'm going to take that leaf out. mostly because I'm crossing over right through the middle of the plant and it'll just stop the airflow. And even your bush tomatoes are prone to blight, so best off to keep the airflow moving. Taking a couple of leaves out of this just from low down, and never the suckers. Just keep saying to yourself, never take the suckers. I don't know if you're going to be able to see these teeny tiny tomatoes, but I'm going to try and zoom in. Whoop. Those are sweet baby tomatoes, and they are all about the size of a pea at the moment. Haha, sweet babies. So looking after the tomatoes is a daily job. I'm in here every day for usually takes me about an hour in the mornings to do all the tomatoes, to do all the shaking for the pollination, and to do all the trimming and sucker hunting. The next job for today is to tie in this squash to this stake. Tie it around the stake, it's a piece of cane. Tie it firmly to the cane, and then encourage your squash plant over towards the cane. I'm not pulling it in tight, I'm just encouraging it to go where I want it to go. This plant is a Burgess Buttercup winter squash vining. These beds have all just had a top dressing of chicken manure pellets that when either I water or it rains will get washed down. Keep everything nice and healthy. We're getting little flowers on here already. The next job for today on our whistle stop tour of what I do in a day, well, morning till lunchtime generally speaking I spend out here, and then a couple of hours in the afternoon. I'm going to be potting on, the next job is pot on these cabbages. They are April. They're a pointy cabbage and they're looking quite fine. So all I've done, I've prepped a few pots, probably not enough, I'll need to do some more, and all I've done is put a small, about half full of compost, and I'll sit these on top and fill around them using my favourite trusty pricking out tool. I'm going to try and take as much soil as I can with them, she says, failing dramatically. And then I'm going to put get them in fairly firmly, you know, brassicas firmly, seat them in firm. There we go, number one. And then every one of them will get a good washing in, and these will go back outside to grow on a little bit. Right, that's that done. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17 cabbage plants. That'd be enough. A bit more than enough. I think we'll pop those straight back out onto the bed from whence they came. Okay. So I'm going to sow the violas. I've got a tray of general purpose compost, which I'm just going to wet with my very inadequate, but hey, well, we're doing the best we can with what we've got, sprayer. Making sure they're good and wet, because that's going to be all they're likely to get for a wee while. Don't know if I did. Teeny tiny seeds. Teeny tiny seeds. Maybe I should. I'm just sprinkling them in, trying to get them fairly evenly spaced out. I might just do a tray, a half tray now this size, see how we get on, and then do another half tray with one of the other packs. There's a little pack. That should be quite a lot of violas. Of course, once they're in, they tend to self-seed anyway, so. I think that should be enough. And that could go, and that can go in a gravel tray with a cloche over the top of it, up on the top shelf up there where the hollyhocks are germinating. And now it's time to deal with the leeks. There's not many. We don't use that many leeks, to be honest. I bet they'll end up being more than I think, actually. Normally I do this in a bucket, but I can't find my bucket, so I'm using this large measuring jug. There's a lot of root in there, I can tell you that for now. I don't think the roots coming through the bottom is helping very much. The soil's come out quite well actually, like this. There we are. So that's the leeks. What we're going to do next is wash away this dirt and separate them. And we'll do that by plunging them. Okay, there we are. We've got I've graded them as I've separated them. These are the very tiny ones. These are the tiny ones. And these are the ones that are a good size. So now I'm going to go and plant them. I've got a few spots in the garden where I can put the leeks, and this is one of them. I'm going to stagger them in front of the beans. Dibber. Make a hole. Can you see? Make a hole. Swizzle it around. take your leek, pop it down in there. I try and spin it a little as it goes down because it gets the roots in a little bit further. And then that's it until it comes to watering. I think I'm going to do double rows of them. Some people trim the roots and trim the tops, but I've never done that. The worms are going to come up now, aren't they? Because I realise there's something going on. Oh, they like that, worms. They come to the top, don't they? Don't fill in the hole, just put the leek down as deep into the hole as you can get it. And then what we'll do in a little while, and I will show you me doing it, is we'll come along and water them in just into the hole. I'm going to carry on with this and get as many of these out as I can, and then I'll come back at the end. The leeks are now all in their holes and I've not put any soil in them. All we're going to do is water them down, and that should wash enough soil down around each one to cover the roots. And then the leeks will grow and fill the hole. Just going to have a quick double check to make sure all the roots are properly covered. I'm fiddling and faffing. Well, those tomatoes have grown even more now. They're growing so fast with, even though they're undercover, because they're in the ground, they're still getting the moisture from the rain. So they're growing like the clappers. Yesterday I spent about an hour and a half in there just de-leafing and de-suckering it, and I've just been in this morning and the sucker's sticking up all over the place. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. Hope I'll see you next time. Bye for now.